Welcome to Mamamia Out Loud, what women are actually talking about on Wednesday, the 10th of September. I am Jessie Stevens.
I am Amelia Lester.
And I am Stacey Hicks, filling in for Holly.
And Holly is off today. Stacey, you busted the door down because you want to, so it's not customary, but you say you have a midweek recommendation.
Yeah, I'm just breaking the rules. I busted in. I've got one. It's good. I promise. I promise it's good.
Well, we're going to save it till the end of the show. Here is what is on our agenda for today.
There's been an update to the infamous Coldplay concert affair, and it will change the way you view relationships.
There are two new species of men that we need to be looking out for in the wild.
And the great lock-in, why all your goals suddenly feel urgent and self-optimisation is very much on the agenda. But first,
in case you missed it, a new season of Succession just dropped.
Give it to me, please.
Just kidding. What actually happened was the Murdoch family, on whom the TV show Succession is based, have finally figured out how to divide up 94-year-old Rupert Murdoch's billions. I know you were worried for them.
It's so stressful.
What actually happened was apparently they hadn't even thought about this until they started watching Succession. And then they looked at each other and said, hang on, we've got to figure out what to do with these billions because Rupert will probably slip his mortal coil soon. So this cued many years of infighting, many, many years. They ended up in a courtroom in Nevada, which is in the middle of the desert. Apparently there's estate laws that are a bit more flexible than in other states. And they all started fighting each other. And they figured out what to do. There are 4 older children from Rupert Murdoch's first 2 marriages.
Kendall, Connor,
Shiv.
And the one who gets nothing.
There are 2 from his marriage to Wendy Deng. We can set those 2 aside. They just want the money. They're not interested in the power. So we don't have to worry about them. We're just talking about the 4 older kids from the 2 first marriages. The problem is they don't agree politically. Lachlan Murdoch, who was Rupert's favourite, he's all in on Fox News, which is how Rupert has made a lot of his money. He loves the fact that Fox News pushed Donald Trump into the presidency. He's a big conservative. Some people say he's even more right-wing than Rupert. And he wanted to go full steam ahead with Fox News. The other 3 older siblings, not fans of Fox News, not fans of Donald Trump, not fans of the conservative news empire, and they wanted to change it. So there were many, many years of infighting, but it turns out that those 3 older siblings have been reassured with the offer of $1.7 billion to walk away and never interfere with Fox News again.
That's fine. That's fine.
That'd do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Lachlan takes over Fox News when Rupert dies and goes full steam ahead on the conservative bent of Fox News. And the other 3 just get to enjoy some time on yachts. They've promised they'll never get involved with Fox News ever again.
Okay, so this is my theory because interesting timing is what I'll say. On Friday, Stacey, did you listen to Friday's episode?
I sure did.
Okay.
Never miss an episode.
You would know that we talked about the Google Doc that everyone needs to fill out.
The spreadsheet.
Before the spreadsheet, right?
Yes.
That you need to fill out before you die. So my theory is that Rupert listened, as he often does, and he went, I've got to get to the bottom of this because you never know. You never know when your time's up. And so he went through, he put in his Facebook password, Twitter password, like details of what he wanted to happen with his mail, and then he just wrote Lachlan. He just said, Lachlan.
He said, I'm all in on Lachlan.
Go with Lachlan.
I think that's probably what happens, but I don't think that they're going to be talking to each other anytime soon. So James Murdoch, who some people say is the smartest Murdoch, some people, if you're listening, Rupert and Lachlan, and he has spoken about how Rupert was really mean to him all through this. Rupert's lawyers in a deposition said things to him like, have you ever done anything successful on your own? And also, why were you too busy to say happy birthday to your father when he turned 90?
Oh, that's petty.
So James was very upset about all of that. And I think it's safe to say that Lachlan and James are kind of like the new William and Harry. They're not talking, and I don't see a reconciliation in the cards anytime soon.
And it's important too, my millennial reference point is that Lachlan is, of course, married to Sarah Murdoch, former host of Australia's Next Top Model.
And that's what matters.
That's what matters, yeah.
Okay, so we always talk about how the world's more fragmented than ever now. It's impossible to gain mass attention, but nothing quite united the world quite like the Coldplay concert cheating scandal. Like, you would have been hard-pressed to find someone who didn't know the details of that. So you'd probably never even heard of the company Astronomer before the CEO, Andy Byron, was caught canoodling on the kiss cam.
It was canoodling.
That's the only way to describe it, isn't it? With his chief people officer, Kristen Cabot, back in July. This moves fast. I feel like that was yesterday. So despite them reportedly being in happy marriages, this occurred. The world made memes about it. But there's been an update to the story now that might change how you look at it. So it popped back up in the headlines again a few weeks ago because Cabot officially filed for divorce last month. But now in a statement to People, Cabot's soon-to-be ex-husband, Andrew Cabot, has confirmed that they were separated long before the Coldplay concert occurred. He says several weeks, so maybe not long before, but several weeks before, and they had made the decision to be divorced before that night. Now, we don't know if the same is the case for Andy Byron. He's never spoken publicly, but, suffered huge ramifications from this story, had to step down, as did Kristen Cabot. Neither of them have spoken. But this is a pretty crucial detail in this story that no one was privy to, and yet everyone has made their decisions about it and moved on. So do you feel like this changes it for you, Jessie?
It changes everything. And I feel like at the time we were saying, we don't know what the arrangement of someone else's marriage is. We don't know if they're still together. It was 2 seconds of footage and people jumped on so fast, and images of her and her husband were released pretty immediately. And you can't retract the headlines and the comments and all of that. And the internet forgets fast, because even the way that it works is that everything's just the new update now. But no one's reading the new update because the virality and the intensity of that moment has passed. So the narrative, it was never about the facts or the truth or, the reality of their marriage. It was about a narrative that was corporate dishonesty, the way that we are tricked and manipulated, and they just flaunt the rules, those people at the top of the corporate ladder. And we liked that narrative and it was neat, and then we moved on. And then the details sort of don't matter. I'm watching this now and I'm like, okay, are we retracting the opinion pieces or what?
This just makes me think about an adage that my mum has always passed along to me, which is you don't know what is happening in someone else's marriage. No matter how much you think you know, even if it's your best friend, let alone some random person on the internet, you just can never actually tell what the dynamic is. And I feel like that's really relevant in the internet age, because the way we think we understand people's relationships is what they post on social media or how they act on social media. And don't you think that the people who talk the most about how happy they are on social media are often the ones who end up coming out and saying it's all falling apart?
Yeah, totally. The people who are always loudest about their relationships are always the ones that you end up suddenly seeing the breakup post from on the Notes app on their Instagram.
Yeah.
Even Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo as I know her, was gushing about how she'd never felt more beautiful than when she was with Ben Affleck. And then a couple of weeks later, they were filing for divorce. Like, I feel like you're protesting too much. You're trying to prove something too much.
Yeah, fast on, fast off.
Yeah.
Yes, I always worry about that. And I have a theory. We spoke, I remember maybe a few months ago, about vow renewals, because remember Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz Beckham were getting their vows renewed, and it's like, oh, is that almost like a red flag that you kind of feel the need to display your love all
after
over
2
again?
years?
Yes. And the loudness of it, I think, makes people feel a little bit uncomfortable and wonder,
what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to say to us here? We get it. You're in love. You're married.
What's behind it? But then I was talking to some friends last night, and have you seen the images from that vow renewal? Yes. So pictures of, it's not just a vow renewal. Like, she's in a wedding dress, Nicola Peltz Beckham, and she's looking stunning. And we were saying she's changed her hair, right? So she was blonde the first time she got married, and now she's a brunette.
Oh,
she's looking great. And
that's key.
It's key, because it feels like when Mia gets a haircut, people might not know this, but every time Mia gets a haircut, she wants new headshots. And she says we have to make new art. We're like, we can't just design our lives around you and your haircut, Mia, because you're changing it all the time. So I think that sometimes with marriages and with weddings, we think, well, now I'm a brunette wife. And so I need images to reflect who I am now. And we were all saying how we look back at our pictures and go, well, I wouldn't mind redoing a bit of a photo shoot. I was 6 months pregnant. I wouldn't mind having a little bit of a waist.
My wedding day was called Stormageddon in the papers the next day. So you can imagine the humidity that I had to deal with as a curly girl. So the hair was not at prime. I would love to renew for that reason alone.
Your husband doesn't need to be there.
No,
it could just be you and a photographer.
Just me, exactly.
I do have regrets about the fact that I got married in maybe the most humid place in the world at the most humid time of year. And I wore my hair down because I was going for Kate Middleton vibes.
Yeah.
That was what we thought looked good back then. And now I'm like, that was not very practical of me. The hair should have been up.
We were saying it's like you think you're going to wake up on your wedding day, because we're sold like this kind of princess lie that we're going to wake up on our wedding day and look like a bride. But you wake up and you still have your face and you still have your body and it's still you.
It's still
and you
you.
smile like an idiot and you look at the pictures, you're like, my photographer was absolutely brilliant. But like, I am not the stuff of bridal magazines. I'm not. But in my vow renewal, perhaps I will be. Perhaps I will be a better version.
Who is? Nicola Peltz Beckham. And that's why we will get a vow renewal every 2 years for the rest of time.
Every 3.5.
Oh,
Stacey.
sorry.
A very
3.5.
significant date.
Time has flown.
Exactly. 3.5 years.
I'm just wondering, to bring it back to the Coldplay couple, if what their big mistake was here was that they looked so guilty instead of leaning into what we now understand to be kind of like hot divorcee energy. Like they were feeling themselves there at the Chris Martin serenade until the camera came onto them.
That was their crime.
That was their crime. They looked guilty rather than embracing the energy of divorcees.
There was a great article in the Sydney Morning Herald at the time by Tim Duggan, who writes a lot about work and career. And he was saying that what all workplaces should have is something called a relationship registry. And
that's brilliant.
You need to have it, because I wonder if when they hid, there's a lot of ways to read it, right? It's maybe to protect their children. We don't know if the other guy in it, I'm sure, like it does look like maybe he was
still
being
in a
bit
relationship.
naughty.
Yes.
But her, maybe she didn't want her kids to know. Also, the workplace might not have known yet. And stats show that like between 1 in 3 and 2 in 3 people have had a relationship in the workplace.
I think I know someone who had a relationship in the workplace.
As the 1 in 3, has anyone else had a?
I have. I'm also married to my former co-worker.
There we go.
Yes.
2 in 3. You're the odd one out.
Literally cannot imagine doing it, but God bless you both.
Well, it says that what you should have is like a relationship registry where the whole office doesn't need to know. But because of things like conflicts of interest and promotions and, lines of management and everything, you just let them know. You can just put it on like to your HR person. I mean, the issue is she was at HR. Maybe she put it in there.
Maybe she did put it in there.
Exactly. And the issue is too, what if you want to declare the relationship but both of you are married?
Well,
like, is that something that the workplace can condone? Are they the morality police, or are they just kind of watching how it kind of plays out in the workplace?
Can I ask a little bit of an intrusive question? Stacey, when you got together with your now husband at work, don't you have to tell HR and sort of the hires up at some point?
Yeah.
And how did you decide when to do that?
We did, and we then had the conversation over. Well, I don't want to go in. You go in. You go tell him. You go tell him what it's. You are closer with him. You've been here longer. You go let him know. So that's what we did.
It's so awkward.
It was very awkward. And when? Like if it had all gone south very quickly, which, it might have done.
Yeah, so how did you decide?
Yeah, it was kind of like maybe a month in. And it was kind of
when
like
you'd left your toothbrush at each other's face, basically.
Yeah, I guess so. So it was
because you don't want to have
no return.
You don't want to have a hookup and then be like, I'm declaring it to HR, and they're like, don't, it's over.
And then you're sitting together in an editorial meeting pitching stories. Yeah, so it's a very delicate space. But even other people in this company got pulled into this story that weren't even part of this story.
Yes, yes.
And this is another thing that has flown under the radar. It got corrected at some point along the line, but no one even knows that the woman that was standing next to them in the clip, do you remember there was a woman that kind of had this look on her face as the kiss cam came onto them like, oh, they've just got stung and I just need to stand as still as possible and hope no one spots me. People said that that was the other person that worked in HR at the company and they had found photos. It was not her. She was not involved in any way in the story, but that is now something that people believe about that company. So it's funny how these things will just move along now as fact, that will forever be known as part of the story. There was also a fake statement from Andy Byron, the CEO, that got widely circulated on the day. Not real.
Also, she resigned, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking back at it going, she didn't do anything wrong, did she? Like, I know that reputationally they can go, it caused maybe a bit of damage, although they actually capitalised off it. They got Gwyneth Paltrow in an ad. But I don't know why she had to lose her job.
I think when you're head of HR, it's a bit unfortunate that she's caught in this way. But look, I think the biggest problem with it was maybe the Coldplay of it all. If this was at an Oasis concert, you know, the Northern Summer has been punctuated with Oasis concerts and they're coming here soon. I think that's very on brand. Oasis, they're bad boys. Like you kind of expect people to be having affairs in the audience.
You felt like Coldplay was just too wholesome.
Like Coldplay is, as someone once said to me, Coldplay is kind of like the porridge of popular music. It's good for you, it's fibrous, but it's not where you should be having affairs. I say next time this happens, do it at an Oasis concert. Okay, I'm going to describe a type of man you may have seen out and about recently. Let me know if this rings any bells. He's got a canvas tote bag. He's carrying a matcha. He might have a paperback book that you yourself have on your bedside table. Think Sally Rooney.
Jacob Elordi. Is it him?
He might have a labubu dangling from a carabiner attached to the belt loop of his wide-leg jeans. Is this ringing any bells, ladies?
Yeah, I see such creatures on the train.
Yes.
On the way to work.
This is a creature that we can now name. This man has been identified. He is known as the performative male. Move over the soft boys. This is the performative male. He's not just in touch with his emotions, he is performing his emotions. And Mamamia's Katie Powers wrote a great piece for the site kind of summing him up. She said he puts his headphones in, picks up his matcha, opens his book to the first page. He is a cocktail of green flags, a man written for the female gaze. So Katie talks about none of these behaviors are problematic. In fact, I think a man reading a Sally Rooney book and drinking a matcha, quite delightful. He's getting his antioxidants in and he's educating himself with an acclaimed female writer. But I think that the issue with this type of man and the reason why he's been given this name, the performative male, is because he's just doing it for the gram. He's just doing it to impress women. He's not actually doing it because he loves tortured Irish protagonists and green tea. So I think it also reminds me a little bit of the sensitive new age guy from the 90s, the snag. Yes. Does anyone remember that? Yeah. And I'm kind of wondering, how unique is this new type of man? Or is it just that every generation has to name that man who's trying a little bit too hard to be a feminist?
I hate this. I hate the term.
Why?
Because it's the male equivalent of the pick-me girl. And I shudder. When I hear the term pick-me girl, I find it so degrading and so sexist.
Can you just describe quickly what a pick-me girl is? Because I've never really understood that.
Yeah, so often it's used to talk about a young woman who seeks validation and attention by acting in a way that they believe men will find desirable. So what annoys me about it is that, like, the male gaze is so just a fixture of our culture. And then when any of us play to it, as we are socialized to do, we're then punished as well. And like the idea that a heterosexual person would do something to impress the opposite sex, like, yeah, that happens all the time. And I just find it, I hear women use it against other women all the time. And I just think putting people into categories like that is icky.
So you think it's a bit mean?
I think it's a bit mean. And as you say, Amelia, none of those qualities, like some of the other qualities I saw were like men who paint their nails or kind of play with gender a little bit, or maybe they talk about their sisters a lot, or, you know, offer to go and buy you some tampons or something. Like all of those things, at what point are we actually just punishing men for transgressing our ideas of masculine boundaries?
But I think the difference with this and how it seems to get defined, it's not about men who are doing things that you would traditionally see as more feminine, like the nail painting. It's more about how they're performing their love of femininity. Like,
should we want men to try and like play with different, like even if they're not, even if they have their Sally Rooney, and maybe they'll hate it, but like I thought we were encouraging men to read. Like, isn't that just sit there with your book and maybe they'll enjoy it.
But it's if they actually read it, Jessie. It's when it's there on the table at 10 different angles for them to post it on the Instagram to get validation from women that they're reading it.
Isn't that in itself a bit of a power inversion, that men are suddenly aware of the female gaze? The male gaze has like impacted us all so much that now they're not only aware of the female gaze, but they're pandering to it. Great. We could do with a bit more of that, right?
but Jessie, this is Justin Baldoni. Like this is, you're saying how great this is that they're pandering to the female gaze, but have you ever spoken to a man who talks about how he's a feminist every second sentence? It's very annoying.
Yes, but have you ever spoken to a woman who, like, I know a lot of women who talk about feminism and social justice issues and all of that, and they're assholes. You know, like sometimes people are just assholes. And I wonder if putting it, like, I keep seeing these new terms, even like himbo is the other one that's coming out.
No. Let me tell you about the other one.
Okay, please do.
This could be an interesting contrast. So we've got the performative males, which unsurprisingly have been a species explored by, among other publications, The Guardian. Slate's come in with its hot take on Travis Kelce, who I thought was pretty universally liked.
I thought he was
nice.
Yeah.
Nope. Apparently he's not just a himbo, he's a who me man, and that's a problem. Let me explain the who me man. So this is the guy who comes across as dumb but lovely, but is actually full of strategy and calculations. They refuse to talk about politics, but that's only because they've decided that being apolitical works for them. So Travis, that's why Travis is kind of the patron saint of this crowd, because think about the fact that Donald Trump says on social media that he hates Taylor Swift. Shortly afterwards, Travis Kelce is asked if he will ever go to the White House if he wins a big football game. And Travis says, yeah, why not? It'd be an honor. And that's the problem with the who me man. It's a lot of, why not? Oh, I don't really have views on politics. Oh, I don't do politics. And there's lots of other examples of this kind of man in popular culture. Think about like Glenn Powell. People thought he was having an affair with Sydney Sweeney when they did a forgettable movie together. Yep. And she got all the heat for it, but he just sort of sat in the corner looking handsome with his square jaw, not weighing in. Or even Jason Momoa, I didn't really know about this, but the Slate article tells me that I thought he was a lovable lunk, but no, apparently there's allegations he's been drinking a lot on set and getting really unpleasant. So that's the who me man. But then I'm thinking, how do men win? Because we're told that they talk too much about feminism, they're a performative male. They don't talk about feminism enough, they're a who me. And then you just got the incels in the middle. So is there a right way to be a man these days?
And do we force them into like, I don't want to patronize men. And I think that it's like the idea, I was listening to someone speak recently who was talking about how we all go, how do you be a good man? What are features of a good man? Like,
that's
what are
the
role
first
models?
Problem, by the way, talking about how to be a good man.
Yes. And
it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yes. And she just went, can we just talk about being a good person? Like they are the same criteria, the same qualities. And I worry that by kind of pigeonholing this, there's a tone of contempt that I think underlies a lot of these internet conversations. And I found it in abundance in that Slate article that was like, men can tell when people are being sort of needlessly cruel about them. Even there was a line in the Slate article that said, football is by its very nature an inherently American sport and therefore inherently political. It's unavoidable for a white man in professional football to be nonpartisan. And I was like, I can see how that becomes exhausting.
Yeah, but to get back to the performative man, this is about them pretending to be a feminist, not actually being one. And that's why people have such strong feelings about it. So I wanted to make sure that the audience know how to spot this man in the wild.
All right, give me more examples.
Okay, so I polled our Mamamia team who had a lot of strong feelings. I got flooded, quite frankly, with the things that make you a performative man. So there's ones that we've kind of talked about, like proudly having the tampons in the console of their car to kind of show they're an ally to the women.
I think that's helpful.
They carry the canvas tote. We know that one. They usually own a shirt that says the future is female, but don't ask you any questions on a date. This is why they're getting annoyed, which is fair enough. They have a lot of these feminist books you speak of, you know, like The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. They've got that on their bookshelf, but if you look closely, the spine is not cracked. It's there for display. It's not there to be read. Or better yet, they're reading them in public, but they're making sure they're angled up so everyone can see what they're reading in public.
Stacey, have you ever done that? Maybe a little bit. Have we
Maybe.
ever purchased a book to have in our handbag for those moments when other people will see our cover? That's the problem with a Kindle.
Have I allowed the corner of my book into an aesthetic photo of my feet on the beach? Maybe.
Yes. Have you ever
Maybe
posted
I
that?
have. Am I a performative man?
I think we're all performative men, Stacey. Amelia, Stacey, we did a subscriber episode recently that was a lot of fun, and it has inspired a lot of input from the Out Louders. Mm-hmm. We came across a Substack newsletter by Rich Childless Godmother.
That's an unusual name.
It is, which was just a list of low-stakes, silly things that she deemed offensive. For example, she said arriving exactly on time for anything is incredibly offensive.
No, that one's incredible. I do that every day of my life.
If you're 5 minutes early, you're late.
Exactly.
Food intolerances as opposed to allergies. She's like, nah, I find that offensive. And look, we decided to add our own. And in this episode, we talked about silent discos. Incredibly offensive. Fruits.
I'm going to one next month.
I think you're really offensive, Stacey.
I think I am. I'll see myself out.
Fruit salads that are 80% melon.
Oh, yeah.
I think everyone agrees that's just highly offensive. When you order a sandwich, it's not cut in half. And one of mine was when I'm eating a muffin and I believe that brown thing to be chocolate and it ends up being a raisin.
Oh, yeah. Jail.
So offensive. Just a day ruiner, right? And I wanted to know, I wanted your contributions to things that you deem offensive. Please, Stacey.
I have so many. Loose leaf tea. I drink 5 cups a day. I don't want the admin. What are you doing?
What? I don't even know how you're meant to use it. Like, is it just brew in some?
You've got to put it in a little thing.
It's meant to be a point of meditation and contemplation in your day, Stacey.
I don't like it, especially at a cafe. I'm paying you to give me admin. Now I have to figure out.
And then it always ends up tasting bitter because you've left it in for too long.
Yeah. So
and you get like
that.
11 different pieces of contraption and you're like, do I look like an engineer?
And then always one bit ends up in your mouth.
Yeah.
Like there's always a straggler.
Got it.
And I also don't like, speaking of cafes, the big shared tables in the middle where you get seated right next to a stranger. No. Don't like that either.
Oh, that's so offensive.
It annoys me. Canned tuna, just that it exists.
How else does one consume tuna?
The smell.
Oh.
I can't. But that's also because I sat next to a person on a plane who ate it on a plane, and I think it's more that they were personally offensive to me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
And my most controversial one, I dared bring it up before I came in. I don't like people reverse parking.
Wait, that's more safe and responsible.
Just drive into the spot. I don't have time for you to reverse.
Okay, Stacey, so I'm a famously bad driver and I need to step up on my soapbox here. I recently took some refresher driving lessons.
You can do that?
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well, but you can certainly try it. And they told me that you have to reverse in because it's something about the wheels and you'll get into an accident if you don't.
That's what people told me, but I just don't want to wait for you to reverse in.
You know what it is? It's embarrassing. To watch someone do it and you just feel cringe, and then I try and reverse in and I don't make it, so I try again, and it's like I don't want to watch people fail.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, execute quickly and correctly.
And perfectly.
Some people call it parking like a spy because you can make a quicker exit when you reverse in.
This has played on my mind for years. When people win like a big award or get like a huge job. They say that they're humbled by the experience.
Yeah.
That's literally the exact opposite of what it is.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, I can see your head growing as it should. Good on you,
Yeah.
but you're not humbled
Hashtag
by it.
blessed.
Yes.
That's
You're
what
humbled
you are.
when you lose,
Yes,
not when you win.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, I've got a few and I'm going to save my most controversial one just like Stacey did for last. First one, people who talk in exercise classes in an attempt to ingratiate themselves to the instructor.
Yeah.
Jessie, is this you? It
No,
is, isn't it?
absolutely not. I can't talk. I can't breathe.
Like, I want to save my thoughtful questions about how to engage my core until the end of the class so that
I
I'm not
agree.
wasting everyone else's time. And then the instructor and I will become very good friends and go to coffees together.
Yes.
But do not waste my time during the class with your performative questions.
Completely
They're just trying
agree.
to get out of doing more reps. That's what it is.
Yes.
Well, but the irony is the rest of the class needs to do more reps.
Oh,
Well,
exactly.
wait for your question to, and I'm like, I'm holding,
can't.
I'm pulsing,
I
I'm pulsing.
Coffee shops where you can't add your own sugar. Or worse, one time I was in London, not known for its brilliant coffee. Sorry, listeners listening from the British Isles. And I went to a coffee shop in Clapham and asked for sugar, and they said they didn't have any sugar in the cafe. And that I
Call
just
the
found.
police.
Listen, I'm prepared to have Italians mansplain coffee to me,
But Brits?
no, a British barista mansplaining coffee to me was a problem.
Oh, no.
The phrase "pick your brain."
Oh,
I
hate it.
don't want it.
I hate it. I hate it. I completely
I
agree.
don't want that. Wearing shoes inside the house, but I think that's just sort of a rule of nature. Really, it's not a controversial one. Sitting on the aisle on the bus, like, I'm sorry, is this your personal limousine? Like, move across. Sometimes I will simply make a point of asking them to move when there are plenty of other seats because I want to affirm and confirm with them that this is public transportation.
It's
This
part of the
is-
social contract.
Exactly. It's part of the social contract. And don't put your bag on the seat. Your bag is not precious unless it's an Hermes Birkin. I don't want it on the seat.
In which case,
In
you're
which
likely
case you
not
probably
on
shouldn't be on the
bus.
bus. Final one. This is really controversial. Umbrellas. I think they're antisocial
Oh my goodness.
because you're just always poking people. You suddenly lose all sense of personal space. You should be wearing a raincoat.
Bring back raincoats. That's actually a great idea.
You've blown my mind a bit because the other thing about umbrellas is that I often do use an umbrella, but what I find is then I come inside, if they don't have a place to put it, I'm also just dripping wet umbrella water, which I feel like is
Well,
a
you're meant to
safety
put it
hazard.
in that little plastic bag. they
Yes, but
give
sometimes
you.
they don't have it.
And it's
Oh,
probably choking turtles, actually.
that's
so-
actually so true. All right, I have a few additional ones that I
Okay.
wanted to add to. Unsolicited texts with deals on injectables. Like it's just a Tuesday and it's like, we have a great deal for you to just get so many injectables. And I'm like, okay.
That's such a good point. I feel like I'm never going to book a beauty treatment that I got texted about.
No, I feel offended 100% of the time.
I don't want my injectables discounted.
No.
Why
No,
are they on sale?
When I tell someone I have a 2-year-old and they don't gasp and ask how I'm old enough to have a child.
Such a
so
good
Every
point.
time I do it, I pause and I'm like, me, with a child.
Such a good point.
And they just go on with things.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Rude.
wow, okay, that's actually really rude. When it appears that someone's wearing runners with no socks, I feel a bit sick because I just think about their shoe, like
Yeah.
their foot and their sweat, and I don't like it. Walking into someone's bathroom after they've had a shower and it's steamy.
Yeah.
I
Why
don't
is that
It
yucky?
feels yuck. Like it feels like I'm too close to their naked, unclean body.
And it also feels like the word moist is just hanging in the air.
And it feels
Actually, can I add that to the list of things we find offensive, that word?
the word, and sometimes it's mixed with someone's deodorant. I remember being in a hostel once and I was in somewhere in the US, it's really humid, and going into the communal bathroom and it was just steam and other people's deodorant. And I was like, I actually just yuck. And my last one is any physical evidence that a human being has consumed cereal.
Oh.
So
What do you mean?
I mean mush in the sink.
Oh,
So
yes.
like if I got into the work kitchen and there was remnants of like cornflakes and milk stuck to a plate,
Yes.
like I just think there's something about breakfast that irks me a little bit,
The Out Loud has sent through some really good ones. Should we just run through a few?
Yeah.
My favourite was Natalie, who wrote, people that drive around with music blasting through their speakers that are attached to the outside of their cars. Yes, this happens in New Zealand. Natalie, it happens in Australia too.
I hate it. Also, Adele, I completely agree with this one. Seeing people brushing their teeth. Even in movies and stuff, I don't like it. But it's any evidence.
Why?
It's like the glob of toothpaste.
You don't
in a
like
sink.
anything to do with being reminded that people have bodies and require sustenance.
I think, or their mouths.
Yeah.
I think I just don't like human mouths.
And some people are very aggressive with it. I think that's what it is too.
Ugh.
And I loved Natalie's. This is one that I absolutely agree with. People that use their phones to text and still have the keyboard sound on. So you can hear the thumbs and the drives me nuts.
Barbara actually had, this was my favorite because I thought it the other day. She had, when people are walking along like on a footpath in a non-designated area smoking, the other day I was genuinely offended by a man who was walking down. I had Luna in the pram, just like at like
is that
2
even legal?
o'clock. I'm like, are you allowed to do
allowed
that?
to?
Because all the secondhand smoke was just like
Wafting.
You know what? If you want to smoke, go for it. But the idea of doing it on a street like near a library where Luna was just going, I just went, that's very antisocial.
Judith, I've got a bone to pick with you. Yours was pedestrians dawdling across the intersection when there is a long line of cars waiting for them. Pick up the pace, people. No, I disagree, Judith. As a pedestrian, I am the one who is not contributing to our carbon footprint. I am the one getting out into the fresh air. And no matter how long the line of cars is, I take my time when I'm walking across the road.
You're one of those.
I'm one of those.
Judith is actually offended, and Judith, I'm with you on this. You're offended that it's not a light. Like sometimes I look at it and I go, we've got some city planning issues.
You found some common ground for me and Judith. That's good.
What you want is for it to be a light so that the traffic works, but it is a real issue around train stations. I just go, come on, make it a light.
Judith, I'm sorry. I didn't think about that, and that's true.
If you are participating in the Great Lock-In of 2025, this is how you're actually going to stay consistent.
It is the great lock-in season, and not a lock-in where you hide yourself from the world, but where you lock in on yourself.
For the rest of the year, you guys are going to see all over your For You page of people joining the lock-in.
Are we feeling inspired?
What is a lock-in? What are we talking about?
Okay, so according to the New York Times, we are entering the Great Lock-In era. It is a term that has been popularized by social media users who are embarking on a challenge. Now, this challenge is similar to, do we remember 75 Hard? Do you remember that?
I didn't participate in it, but I remember it.
I remember criticizing it from afar.
Yes.
What is 75 Hard?
It was 75 days, and it's like a health and fitness challenge. And it was like, drink this much water and read 8 pages of a book and do 10,000 steps and da-da-da-da-da. Like it was a mad challenge. Or the Winter Arc, which was last year's version of this. And it's a Northern Hemisphere trend where individuals commit to setting and achieving significant personal goals in the colder months. So in the lead up to sort of New Year, and it's meant to counteract the instinct to hibernate.
It's like dry
off.
July.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, except you just tick off everything.
Yes.
And you become a better version of yourself in colder months.
Australians are like, I'm just going to try not to drink alcohol for a month. In the Northern Hemisphere, they're like, I'm going to write a book.
Yeah, in 4 months, exactly. While we in Australia, obviously we're not entering the cooler months, it does feel like we are suddenly barreling towards the end of the year. We spoke about the term lock-in a few months ago because it's a Gen Z popularized sort of slang term. And it's about entering a state of deep focus and concentration, aka putting your phone down for 4 minutes and being like, I'm locked in, right? But the idea is that we are all going to hunker down for the rest of the year and do all the things that we said we set out to do in January when we were fundamentally different people. We're going to run that marathon. We're going to clean out the cupboard. We're going to get that promotion. We're going to increase our savings. Stacey, are you locking in?
Can I lock out? Get me out. Leave me on the outside. I just feel like this is like New Year's resolutions rebranded, except we have to do them every quarter. And I'm just like, I failed already. We're, 10 days into the month. I don't want to do it. I
I just fundamentally resent having to think about the year in terms of quarters. I am not an accountant.
Yes.
How about your goals though, Stacey? Have you simply achieved them all?
I don't even remember what they were, even from last week. But I feel like this is part of the success society that we're in now. Like I was reading this article in Medium about that and how it's seen now as the holy grail of human existence. Like you have to be striving for the next thing, getting that promotion. Like you can't just be seen to be enjoying yourself ever. Coasting. Would you lock in, Jessie?
I love the idea of locking in. I just read this and I went, I need new stationery. That was my, I need a new notebook and maybe a new pen.
Oh, do you mean like one which has like a little picture of you at the top and it says from the desk of Jessie Stevens?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. And maybe a personalised pen that costs a little bit too much money. Like I just feel like that will fix it.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a business owner recently who was saying that in Australia things wind down and they basically like switch off on Melbourne Cup Day. Like Australians are known for they cannot they're not thinking ahead of they're thinking January on Melbourne Cup Day, which is November the 4th.
No, but this is why this lock-in idea is a fundamentally Northern Hemisphere concept. So I learned recently that silly season is apparently just an Australian and British invention. It's not discussed around the world. I had to explain to my American partner what a silly season was. Americans don't have a silly season. It's just always fundamentally low-key silly there. And I know it's beyond. It's just about to happen here because I said to two friends of mine who are very busy, who I just had dinner with, can we see each other before Christmas? And then we realized it's already gotten to the point where it's like, we'll catch up after Christmas.
There are 4 months left.
Maybe they just didn't want to see me again, but they said they were too busy.
I think we have a third of a year left. I don't know why. I'm doing the same because I'm like, guys, it's basically holidays. Like, come on. The goals can't be achieved. Amelia, how about are you going to run a marathon? Are you training for your marathon?
How did you know that, Jessie? That's so funny that you asked me that. I am just trying to go to exercise classes and stay silent during them. That's just my goal here.
But I feel like we're just trying to set up too many ways for ourselves to fail. Like everything feels like it's very achievement and milestone based now. Like even with parenting now, don't you feel like, at least like having little kids, everything is about leaps and milestones. And I don't think our parents' generation would have had a clue like when we were meant to roll over.
Well, it's about enrichment.
And I also think you nailed it before, Jessie. I can say this because M. Vernon's not here right now. Yeah. Gen Z has to stop coming up with phrases that mean not looking at TikTok.
And the irony is they keep coming up with those phrases and sharing them on TikTok.
She's going to come at me for this, isn't she?
Because this is what you have to do. Participants in the locked in, great lock-in, whatever they call it, challenge, are encouraged to share their personal pledges online and to upload daily progress updates to hold themselves accountable. And it's like you would get more done if you're creating less content is like the general rule.
If you stop talking about locking down, maybe you could get your goals.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go, Stacey, you are bursting with a midweek reco.
That's breaking
the rules. It's blasphemy, but
do you find that offensive? Add it to your list.
We deem it offensive that you've fucked with the format. Please take the floor, Stacey.
Okay. Are you both Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah?
Is this a reality show?
No, it's not.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, good. So depending on where the listeners sit, I can either hear them screaming at their phone right now, telling me that they are Team Conrad, which is the correct answer, FYI, or they're like you two and look very confused.
Oh, is this Twilight?
No, but it's kind of the new iteration of Twilight. Yes. So what I'm talking about is the show called The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Okay. Yes. I keep seeing the abbreviation of this, which is like 6 random letters.
Yeah.
And I keep being like, what are we? It's like Tissamura. And I'm going, what are we talking about here?
Yes. So this show is like a teen drama. Like, make no mistake, I'm not meant to be watching it. But all millennial women at the moment that I seem to have conversations with are saying to me, are you watching The Summer I Turned Pretty? I'm catching up on The Summer I Turned Pretty. It has hit fever pitch.
Because I thought this wasn't a new show. I thought people were talking about this a few years ago.
No. So it's in the 3rd season now. The finale is next week. But I want you to hear it. I want you to hear what this show sounds like, just to get the vibe.
My family spends every summer in Cousins Beach with my mom's best friend and her 2 sons, Conrad and Jeremiah. They've always seen me as a little kid, but this summer... See you guys later. It's different.
Damn, you look hot. Stop flirting with my sister. You want to be with him?
Being with you is all I've ever wanted.
Okay, it's great. Be with me then.
I watched an episode of this a few years ago. I remember they go to a beach.
Yeah.
She's like, and everyone's like, wow, you've turned into a woman. I'm like, ew.
It's like that classic, you took your glasses off and suddenly
Yeah,
you're hot.
yeah.
But she turned 16. They go to Cousins Beach, which is in the Hamptons in this story. And her family holidays every year with the Fisher family. So there's Conrad and Jeremiah are the brothers who are around her age, as well as her own brother. So the main character is Isabel Conklin. So they nickname her Belly for some strange reason, unclear.
Okay.
That's the nickname of
Yep.
this girl. And both the boys fall for her and drama ensues. So
Okay.
this
Is it like in the sort of like, if the Hamptons are so fancy, is it like rich people drama? Like, is that the vibe?
So the Fisher family is rich, but Belly's family is not. They are just friends of this family. So are like swept into this world every summer and spend all of this time with them. And look, the dialogue's not great. The plot, pretty unbelievable. The 2 brothers would just go so hard over one family friend. Bit weird.
Yeah.
But you won't care because it's like a version of the OC. Like, did you watch the
loved
OC?
the
Yeah,
OC.
okay.
I loved it.
Gives you that like heartsick,
Yeah.
like excited
Summer.
feeling you
Yeah,
had
yeah,
when
yeah,
you were
yeah.
a teen.
I've got an older reference. Is it like Dawson's Creek?
Exactly. That
Okay.
was the other one I was going to reference is Dawson's Creek. It is exactly like that. Like it's corny. You won't care. You'll love it.
Is it on Netflix?
No, on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
And like across the city, across Sydney, multiple pubs are shutting down on Wednesday nights to hold these viewing parties for young
so it's
women.
dropping once a week at the moment.
Yeah,
That's
once a
why.
week. That's
All
why.
right.
It sounds really escapist and lovely,
That's
and
it.
maybe what I'll lock in on.
Yeah, you should lock in on binging this by next Wednesday so
I-
you can watch the
Okay.
finale.
A big thank you to all the Out Louders for listening to today's show and our fabulous team for putting it together. And if you enjoyed this episode, maybe you want to give a friend a kick up the bum and tell them that they need to lock in because they've not achieved any of their goals. Send them this episode. We are finding new Out Louders every day and it is always such a joy. We will be back in your ears tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.